What up, gamers? Latho up here, and welcome back to another weekly wrap. Let's go ahead and talk about the video game news of this past week. We have 4 pieces of news to go over, some PlayStation, some Nintendo, and about a game that is coming out probably not anytime soon, but in the far future. Speaking of which, we'll jump into that story first, and that is a new Witcher game is announced, and it is coming from CD Projekt Red. I know, caution signs, at least for me, caution signs are going up. We know what happened with the whole fiasco that was Cyberpunk 2077. Let's go ahead and read into this. This is coming from the official Witcher game website, and it had a big statement. So we're gonna go ahead and read that statement, and it goes like this. We are happy to announce that the next installment in the Witcher series of video games is currently in development, kicking off a new saga for the franchise. It's an exciting moment as we're moving from Red Engine to Unreal Engine 5, beginning a multi-year strategic partnership with Epic Games. It covers not only licensing, but technical development of Unreal Engine 5, as well as potential future versions of Unreal Engine that becomes relevant. We'll closely collaborate with Epic Games developers with the primary goal being to help tailor the engine for an open world experience. At this point, no further details regarding the game, such as development, time frame, release date, are pretty much available, not going to be available. Additionally added also was that no plans on making the game exclusive to one storefront. Expect this to be a multi-platform game. It's super exciting, but then you go back and you're thinking, damn, CD Projekt Red. I mean, to be fair, if you played the Witcher games, right, Witcher 3 specifically, that is a game that people loved, got lots of praises, right? This was probably the game that put CD Projekt Red on the map. So them coming back, maybe them coming back to a Witcher game is probably a good thing, potentially. There's definitely gonna be some stuff in question here, right? If you look back at it, a new saga for the franchise, you know, there was lots of talk online that maybe the story won't continue with Geralt, maybe it'll be a brand new story in the Witcher universe. I don't know the books, so there could potentially be probably more than just Geralt. Anybody who like actually reads the books, let us know down below in the comment section. You know, is there a whole new storyline that's not related to Geralt aside from, you know, the characters in Geralt's storyline? You know, this also makes me think about as well, there's the Witcher series on Netflix, which I love it. I know a lot of people at 5'9" love it. It is probably one of the best shows on Netflix currently, I think. And it makes sense for them to want to go back into the video games. You know, if the show is doing so good, right, why not cap off that and make another video game? Is the video game, will it be maybe more related to maybe what's going on in the Netflix show? But then again, what's happening in the Netflix show, I think already kind of happens from the other games too. So no clue in terms of new saga, what direction that goes in. But also there's the switch of the engine. Some people are not exactly happy with the decision to go with Unreal Engine 5. I'm no crazy tech person, but I mean, as long as the game can come out good, they take the time to work with the engine to get it down, right? I'm not against that. Aside from that, though, I mean, I'm pretty excited. Multi-platform game, that's good. You know, a lot of people were thinking too with this announcement, it would be an only an Epic Game Store game, but thank God that's not the case. It seems like they're just working with the engine, right? They're licensing, pretty much getting it from Epic Games and whatnot. So no worries on that front. But give me your thoughts down below on this. Are you excited for this? Does the whole thing with Cyberpunk 2077 just pretty much make you just think, nah, I'm good, I'm gonna pass on this opportunity to play this game? Because considering how that went, you know, you're kind of scared. To be fair, they have been definitely updating the game. I haven't personally gone back into it, but I have seen a lot of people go into it and say like, oh, it's a much better experience now. So, you know, maybe this is an example of, okay, you messed up, now you have to really, especially because it's The Witcher, you have to really take the time to make this right. Keyword, take the time. We can go into story number 2. Haven Studios officially joins PlayStation Studios. We're getting this from the PlayStation blog from Herman Holst. From Haven's first pitch, PlayStation was inspired by Haven's vision for creating a modern multiplayer experience that brings gamers together in a positive and meaningful way. They were confident in their creative and technical expertise to deliver such an ambitious project, and were thrilled to invest in Haven's journey for developing a new original IP for PlayStation. Haven describes their first new IP for PlayStation on track to deliver a AAA multiplayer experience with a vision to build a systemic and evolving world focused on freedom, thrill, and playfulness that will keep players entertained and engaged for years. Now, this news is definitely pretty interesting, given the fact that we just know we know that the Haven studio is brand new. It literally just got announced, was it maybe 2 years ago or a year ago at this point? And this is pretty much that team's first like big game. I mean, if not their first game period. So I know a lot of people are thinking, this is a pretty big thing to officially bring in Haven Studios to PlayStation Studios, right? What a acquisition for a studio that hasn't really proven what they can do. To be fair, a lot of the talent that is in this team, you know, especially the head honcho, Jade Raymond, she's already known for what she's done in the past, and a lot of them are too. Just picking her off the top of my head because of what I can remember, but Jade Raymond has worked on like the original Assassin's Creed games, and so, you know, that alone should give you kind of like an eye of what she's capable of doing. She's done plenty of games since then, but again, that's probably one of the most notable works that she has done. And again, her team consists of veterans from the actual game space that have helped build tons of great games that we know about. You could definitely look more about that if you look more into Haven Studio. But again, it does beg the question of, okay, that's a pretty big thing to do, right? A pretty big acquisition. But when you start looking at stuff like acquisitions and whatnot, and especially taking a chance on some, you know, on a brand new studio at that, there's definitely some questions into this one. But to be fair, when you look at the whole thing that's going on with the initiative, which we talked about, what, I think a weekly wrap or two ago, and we saw how kind of like, you know, people are leaving the studio. There's lots of questions about how everything is going on there, right? Because that was a brand new studio as well, and so it does kind of make that, you know, make that question about, as long as, you know, PlayStation sees that the studio is doing something good, everybody's working well together, right? Everything is kind of going good. It's probably not a bad call if they wanted to have a, you know, another acquisition studio underneath their belt and everything. I feel like in a time and day and age where you see stuff like the initiative happening and you see things going good here at Haven Studio, everybody likes each other, it's a good work environment, I feel like it's not a bad call. Especially when also, given the fact that the location of the studio as well, I think it was in Montreal, it's also a location where I think there's a lot of talented people, and it's a great way for PlayStation to also just have more people join in. Say this project does really well, well then it's also located in a place where they can get a lot of good, you know, just talent to come in and work with the studio. So it kind of makes sense. There's a lot of good reasons as to why they did this acquisitional deal, so I'm pretty much down for it. This game, we don't know anything about it, and it kills me, but we can see you guys will see here, there are official concept art that is out there, and you can see what kind of the game, from a concept perspective of what it looks like. It looks cool. It looks like it has like a sci-fi kind of touch to it, maybe not even sci-fi, definitely cool city-like structures. I mean, you'll see it. It's a really cool look to it. I like it. I think it has a smidge of like a very modern, maybe even post-apocalyptic kind of world. I don't know. It's a mix of some type of futuristic kind of design. So I'm excited for it. You let me know your thoughts about this, you know, this whole thing down below. Are you excited about this? I mean, again, this is PlayStation working with a team that is going to help bring them these multiplayer experiences. And as we know, PlayStation is going ham when it comes to these multiplayer, you know, live services, what they really want to push towards. And this is definitely on track to be one of those first, you know, experiments. So I'm excited. Hopefully it turns out good. So definitely keep our eyes on this one. Story number 3. Nintendo Switch Update 14.0 is bringing folders, which is a big requested thing. I'm someone who I guess would want folders, but it's not the craziest thing, but this was definitely popping off. Everybody was excited to finally have folders on the Nintendo Switch. This information I'm getting is from the official Nintendo website. Again, the website says the following: the latest Nintendo Switch update is now available, including a new feature to create groups of software on a console, otherwise known as pretty much just folders. Folders are only available when more than 12 software titles are saved on Nintendo Switch system. Up to 100 groups can be created with a max of 200 titles per group, and the same software title can also be added to multiple groups. This is pretty cool. I mean, it's something that the Switch could use. I mean, we've said plenty of times here, the Switch could use a ton of like just home screen UI love, just some straight up love. The biggest thing, which I'm praying for, maybe they're working their way to it. We're gonna get there. Maybe it'll be at the very end of, like, you know, whatever this current Switch, you know, lifeline is gonna be like, right? And so maybe just Switch Pro or whatever. But it is themes, right? We got black, we got white. What the hell is gonna be next? And we have been waiting. We have been waiting for them to bring in custom themes, especially when you look back at like the 3DS, right? And the beautiful gloriness that was of the themes being on that thing. So personally, I hope we get that soon. It does seem like, you know, hey, they're working their way through it, right? I mean, they added the Bluetooth audio not that long ago. You know, they're doing a ton of things to add to the Switch software. So kudos, kinda. I don't know. Let me know down below if that's something that was big for you. You let us know. Speaking of which, more updates are coming. PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 also got a system software update as well. Now, this is coming from the PlayStation blog that pretty much breaks down everything that was kind of being added to this update. Essentially, you have now the ability to create or join open and closed parties on both the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 console arrived. And on PlayStation 5, they will also be bringing new UI elements and enhancements to game base and the trophy card system, as well as accessibility features like mono audio for headphones. The PlayStation app and Remote Play app also got enhancements, pretty much also kind of mimicking some of the UI elements that the console change for party mode got, essentially. At least for the PlayStation app. Again, Remote Play just kind of got some enhancements. Also, Remote Play got a new dark mode based on your phone settings, which is cool. Why not? I mean, sure, that's a thing. But it's good to see that they're kind of updating that, because believe it or not, as Xbox kind of got the whole cloud thing going on with the phones and everything, I have been trying that out, and I'm like, man, there does come a point where I can't wait to see what PlayStation does in the future. But Remote Play is a thing, right? You can do it for now at least, and it's not the best experience, but it is, it is something just to be able to take your games on the go and try it on your phone for the most part. But I'm glad that they're updating it more, if anything, for the enhancements to the actual service. So I'm glad they're doing that. The big one, however, is variable refresh rate is a planned, and they're even like going into detail here, but it's continued to be planned to release for the PlayStation 5 in the coming months, which makes it sound like it's probably going to come summertime, maybe, possibly around there. Again, on HDMI 2.1 compatible TVs and PC monitors, that is where you're going to get the actual feature to be able to do the VRR, or variable refresh rate. And if you don't know, VRR dynamically syncs the refresh rate of the display to the PlayStation 5 console's graphic output. Now, this enhances visual performance for PlayStation 5 games by minimizing or eliminating visual artifacts such as frame pacing issues and screen tearing. Gameplay in many PlayStation 5 titles will also feel smoother as scenes render instantly, graphics will look crisper, and input lag will be reduced. Now, previously released PlayStation 5 games can be fully optimized for VRR through a game patch, and future games can include support for VRR at launch. That was a mouthful, but that was an important thing to kind of know. I think out of this entire thing that I just listed here for what came for this update, the most important thing that I think a lot of people are going to take from this is the fact that VRR, which is a big requested feature, is coming. Sounds like it's coming again very soon. My thought is, okay, it probably takes a couple months until we get these updates. I would say probably around summertime, I think, is when we can expect the VRR update. And I pretty much just gave the reasons why it's such a big thing. But obviously, keep in mind, you have to have those compatible displays, those TVs and those monitors that have the 2.1 HDMI. Without that, you're not going to really take advantage of this feature. But again, it's a pretty important feature for people who are taking some serious gaming on their PlayStation 5. And again, it's an overall just a good update. Essentially, that is it. But before we go, games that released this past week, a couple here to take note of. Rune Factory 5 on Switch, that came out March 22nd. A Memoir Blue, that came out for PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. I'm not gonna go through all Xboxes, literally Xbox and PlayStation, and then Switch and PC. That was March 24th. The Ascent came out for both PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. That was March 24th. And then Ghostwire Tokyo for PlayStation 5 and PC. That was March 25th. That is it. Again, give us your thoughts down below. Any stories that I missed or anything you want to comment on, again, down below in the comment section. I am Lethal and Up. Thank you guys for watching this week's Weekly Wrap, and tune in to next week's. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.